Hey everyone, welcome back to FSi DFS. I'm McKinley412. Hope you're all having a fantastic week as we head into Thursday night. A nice 11-game slate, and we got some big heavy hitters going in some great matchup spots as well. So it's going to be really intriguing to see where the ownership goes. Do you try to go more of a stars and scrubs line? Do you typically go more in the mid-tier with your lineups? So let's just kind of break it all right down. If you haven't already, you could always use the code POWERPLAY to get a free day's access into our Discord, into the NHL channel. Just go to our website, fsidfs.com, and just kind of go through the subscriptions page, and it'll all be right there for you. So let's dive in. Edmonton, already talked about them. Biggest favorite on the board. This might be the biggest favorite we have seen all season long as well, sitting at minus 305 with an over-under of 7, meaning Edmonton's probably going to have the biggest implied total that we have seen so far yet this season. Other big teams, big favorites, Tampa Bay at home facing off against Chicago, and then Colorado at home squaring off against Seattle. Dallas is a pretty big favorite on the road at Columbus, and everybody else, so we got a lot of big offenses in great spots, some heavy favorites all throughout the slate. Looking at the projected goalkeepers, again, these are just the projected goalkeepers at this point in time. I don't think anybody is actually confirmed at the time I'm recording this video. Reimer and Demko, I do have them green. Reimer and Demko essentially both break the data where like everything else you couldn't really see, even like Ottinger, you can't really tell majority of the colors too well, but Demko and Reimer have had fantastic starts to the season. Demko arguably might be the best goalie so far this season outside of the Ullmark and Swayman for Boston there, but still fantastic spots for each of these guys. And then Skinner and Copley are the complete opposite in that they have had a really rough starts to the season. Copley is, I think, only played in 2 or 3 games so far. Skinner, he's appeared in like 7 games, and it has just not been pretty. Edmonton's really struggling on the defensive end so far this season. And they're honestly struggling a little bit on the offensive side as well. McDavid has not been doing McDavid things. Makes you wonder, makes you a little bit curious, but that's kind of where the projected goalkeepers are at. So let's dive into some of my favorite lines. And these are not all the line stacks that I love. Obviously, there's other ones that I do enjoy, but these are the ones that really stuck out to me right at the start. So, and these are in no particular order. But we're going to go to the Rangers, top line of Kreider and Zibanejad, and then we're going to throw in Gustafsson there, and he's a defender, 3.9K. Adam Fox, he was the leading defenseman. He was kind of like the leading offensive defenseman, the superstar for the Rangers. He's on a long-term IR. He's going to be out for a while, and Gustafsson's been the guy that has stepped up and taken his place on the top power play unit, and he's actually taken this opportunity and done very well with it. 2 games so far. He's already got a goal and 3 assists, 2 multi-point games for him, a couple of shots in each of those games as well. New York Rangers, they have one of the best power play units in the entire league. You can see it down here in the notable special teams. They're actually ranked 2nd in the league, and they're facing off against the dead last, the worst penalty kill unit so far this season in Minnesota. So it wouldn't shock me if New York's able to get 1 or 2 power play goals, and Gustafsson would be leading and quarterbacking that unit. 3.9K, he's still too cheap. I think for the opportunity that's going to be presented to him, he's probably going to be pretty popular just because of that nice salary relief that he can provide. Now, Kreider and Zibanejad, they are not super expensive by any means in their own regard. If you do want to go with the right wing and go with a full even strength line stack of Kreider and Zibanejad, you can go with the right winger. It's going to be Wheeler down here, 3.5K. Again, very affordable, just a limited floor on him. Next, we're going to go to the I couldn't leave Edmonton out at a minus 305 favorite against San Jose. I know San Jose won. They shut Philadelphia's offense down. They allowed them to only 1 goal, but yeah, I don't know how this game's going to go. Essentially, Edmonton offensively has some of the greatest talent in the entire league, but they have not looked at all like it. Frustration is really starting to build up. Just in their last game, McDavid and Draisaitl were getting into a big fight and scrap at the end of the game, and that is not like those guys to get, toe-to-toe, fist-to-fist with the opponents. So frustration's really setting in there, and honestly, this could be a game where if San Jose gets down a bit early, the floodgates might just open, and Edmonton doesn't care. They're just gonna, let out all their anger on them. So San Jose, like I said, arguably one of the worst teams that we've seen in the previous couple of decades in the NHL. They're going to be allowing 5+ goals in a majority of their games so far this season. And yeah, it comes down to like, how much do you think Edmonton is going to be able to stop the offensive skid and live up to the expectations that they do have offensively. So going with Hyman, McDavid, and Bouchard, they shuffled up their lines a little bit. They did separate McDavid and Draisaitl on those top two even strength lines. Hyman, very affordable at 6.2K, provides you with a nice floor. I could see him being extremely popular with this price tag here. McDavid, we all know McDavid at this point. And then going with Bouchard here on defense, 6.2K. He does skate on that top power play unit with McDavid and Draisaitl and Hyman. And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins as well. You can see I did highlight Ryan Nugent-Hopkins over here at 5.7K. I could see him being quite popular. And then if you want to go with I think it's left wing for them, it's actually McLeod. Min price, 2.5K. So we're going to get a min price guy skating with Connor McDavid on the biggest implied total that we have seen all season long so far. Could be very popular with that. I will say his floor is non-existent, and he's probably not going to see a whole ton of minutes. McDavid's going to see 20-25 minutes of ice time. Would not shock me if McLeod's only going to get like 14 to 16 minutes of ice time, or if even that. But still, the opportunity is there at min price. It's just an glorious spot, so I could see people going with him. And then the third stack that I'm going to be going with is going to be this Hagel, Point, and Kucherov. Tampa Bay at home, -260 favorites, hosting Chicago. Now, Tampa Bay, they've been on the road for quite some time here. They're finally returning back home, and these guys dominated throughout that road trip, especially Kucherov. Kucherov, he has hit a shot on goal bonus, so 5 or more shots on net. He's hit that 5 straight games. He's got 11 points in just his past 3 games. And honestly, Hagel and Point, they're no slouches either. These guys are both producing. And if you want to get off, what I think is probably going to be a lot of Edmonton chalk, there's probably going to be Tampa Bay chalk as well. But I do really like these guys on this top line. You could pair them with guys like Paul, who does skate on the top power play unit. Steven Stamkos, he's not listed here, but I'm still going to have a lot of interest in Steven Stamkos as well, just because Hagel does skate on that second power play unit for Tampa. And Tampa, again, a great power play unit, top 3 in the league so far this season. Chicago, they've been pretty decent on the penalty kill, though, which a little bit reluctance there. But you compare them with a guy like Hedman at 6K on defense. So let's go over to these individual plays. Nathan MacKinnon right up at the top. Colorado, big favorite at home, -230 on the board. So MacKinnon, you compare him, you could go big. You compare him with Rantanen here and Makar if you want to go with the big 3 trio. It's going to be extremely difficult, if not nearly impossible, to jam all 3 of these guys into your lineup. But you could go a little bit cheaper. Lehkonen at 6.1K. He is skating on that top line with MacKinnon and Rantanen. So maybe you could go with those 3, or you could, fade Rantanen and go MacKinnon, Makar, and Lehkonen and save even more salary, but still get a pretty hefty stack towards Colorado. So I'd like all those plays there. Going to Vancouver here, facing off against Ottawa, even money line there. This Ottawa team is the only team that is going to be skating on a back-to-back. They played in Toronto last night, so it's not that they traveled far by any means, but still, it's a back-to-back. It's something worth noting. So Elias Pettersson leading the charge. We all know what this Vancouver offense has been able to do throughout the course of the season. One of the best offenses in the entire league thus far, and Pettersson's really been leading the charge. Dylan Larkin at home against Montreal, a Montreal team that just defensively is falling apart. They did very well to start the season and not looking so great anymore. So Larkin at 7.3, I think that's a little too cheap. I just really like the possibility and the upside that he does have at home. You compare him with a guy like Alex DeBrincat here, 7.5K. These are one of the better point pairs in the entire league, meaning if one of these guys scores, it's a very good chance that the other guy is going to have an assist on it. JT Miller going back to Vancouver here. He skates on the second line behind Pettersson, but he does get top power play unit time with him. And you can see here, Vancouver, they're actually ranked 4th in the entire league in terms of penalty or power play percentage, facing off against a weaker Ottawa penalty kill, who's also going to be skating on the back end of a back-to-back. Just also want to mention Pettersson. He's going to be skating alongside Mikheyev as well as Kuzmenko. Mikheyev and Kuzmenko are very affordable. Kuzmenko I did put in here just because he is the guy who's going to be skating on the top power play unit with them. And I just noticed I do not have Quinn Hughes on the defense here, but I'm going to have a lot of interest in Quinn Hughes if I am going to be going with the Vancouver stack. I essentially want to make sure I have Quinn Hughes as part of that. He's just been a stud offensively. Scheifele, we're looking for upside, not much of a floor, but I do think that he could hit a ceiling game here, facing off against Nashville at home. Nashville's big up and down the ice kind of team, so really he's big boom or bust essentially. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, already talked about him, pairing him with a big Edmonton stack if you do want to go that route. Johansson, another Colorado guy. He doesn't skate with Rantanen anymore on the second line. He looked a lot better when he was there. So this is not so much the even strength play as much as it is he skates on that top power play unit for Colorado, which is always going to be a threat and a danger. Paul talked about him. He skates on the top line or top power play unit with Kucherov and point. Also skates alongside Steven Stamkos. And then Robert Thomas for St. Louis, 4.3K. He can certainly get on the score sheet and provide you with a little bit of a floor for cheap. And he's at home on a slight favorite. McLeod, already talked about him. Pasternak for Boston. Anytime Boston at home is a decent favorite, Pasternak's going to be in play. He's just got such a fantastic floor. Draisaitl, I already talked about him. Rantanen, pairing him with McKinnon. Kyle Connor, this could be a guy that you pair with Scheifele. If you are going with Scheifele, I would recommend pairing him with Connor. You could also go with the full line stack of Scheifele, Connor, and Iafallo here at 5.2K. This is one of the handful of lines in the league that skates all together at even strength and all share the same power play unit as well. So it really boosts the upside that you can have with those guys. Josh Morrissey here at 5.6 is the defender who's going to be quarterbacking that top power play unit. He just has not, produced as to what we were expecting going into the season, but, jump on the train first before everybody else gets there and he finally gets back on track. But yeah, Scheifele, Connor, and Iafallo could be a nice trio stack with some upside facing off against Nashville. DeBrincat pairing with Larkin, Lehkonen, already talked about him. Kuzmenko talked about him. Raymond, if you are going with a Detroit stack, which I think could really go under the radar. A lot of people are going to be going with Tampa Bay and Edmonton and Colorado, and there's affordability on all three of those teams. So it's not like it's impossible to jam all those guys in. So I think Detroit possibly could be pretty lower owned. So if you are going with Larkin and DeBrincat, Lucas Raymond does skate on that top he does skate on the top even strength line with those three guys. He does not skate on the same power play unit, but he does get power play time on that second unit. And then Wheeler, already talked about him. He's the right wing for Kreider and Zibanejad on that line. Makar, focused on him already. Hedman, pairing him with the Tampa Bay guys. Chychrun, this is more so... I just love him as a DFS player. Like, he's so fun to watch. He's just fantastic. So 5.7K, this is more so I just wanted to get him the acknowledgments that he deserves because he's just an awesome DFS player. Jacob Trouba, if you don't want to be going with Gustafsson, like Trouba's had to raise his level of game as well. And he's been thrust into some more opportunities just because with Adam Fox out, he's a very veteran guy. 5.1K gets you that peripherals. Nurse, Bouchard is the Edmonton guy who's going to be skating on that power play unit. He's going to get you shots, block shots, points, all that stuff. Nurse is more so he's going to get you the shots and the block shots. He's not going to get on the score sheet as much as Bouchard. He also doesn't skate on the top power play unit, but he's still somebody that would have interest in. Then once you get down here, you're kind of looking for guys who, who have a little bit of upside, but also you're just looking for like block shot bonus. Oleksiak is definitely that. I fully admit he's on here just because I think he's going to have the great possibility to get that block shot bonus facing off against the Colorado team that's averaging almost 35 shots per game, second in the entire league. Mayfield is just a block shot machine. Again, he's facing off against Boston, who likes to shoot the puck quite a bit. And then Ferraro at 3.9K. He's been blocking shots like crazy all season long. He's been doing it his whole career, honestly. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, Ferraro was like an FSi core staple for it was like 10 or 15 games. The members who have been here for a while know about it, and he was fantastic. So we're going back to the well with Ferraro here. He's been doing very well in terms of block shots, and he's going to be tasked to do a lot, getting in front of McDavid and Draisaitl, who's just going to be possessing the puck like crazy. San Jose is not going to get much possession at all, so they're just going to be going into a shell trying to stop the bleeding all night long. So that's kind of where this slate breaks down. Just realized I didn't put the full lines that also correlate on the power play. I gave you a couple of them, though, throughout this video. So thanks for watching. As always, please do hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out as we hit our way towards 5,000 subscribers. And as always, good luck in your contests. Thanks for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.